Hi, I'm Leslie Dennis, the director of SIPA, the regional organization that encompasses Alabama, and the director of the South Carolina Scholastic Press Association, which is very similar to what Meredith does for Alabama. I'm very excited to present for you guys, and I hope you enjoy my presentation about social media, something that we're all using a lot today now that we're stuck at home. This is a great way to connect to your audience from afar and to allow them to connect with you. So engage your audience through social media. This is a very basic presentation on the introduction on how to integrate social media into your publication, how to use it as a tool to promote, how to create posts, and how to plan the strategy on using those posts to promote your publication, your messages, and your content. So I hope you enjoy. So let's get started. If you see a cat, I'm sorry, I have 5, so they may pop out. One likes to kind of zoom bomb. So let's go. You use social media as an individual. How do you use each platform to promote your specific message? Twitter you use to reshare specific content. Instagram you share photos, those type of things. So how do you use it as an individual? You want to think about that. And ultimately, the effectiveness of social media depends on one thing: the consumer. The consumer is what makes the social media platform work. That is who your target audience is. That is who shows the effectiveness of your content that you create. And that is the person that determines whether or not you are using it properly. So you want to think about the consumer of the platform that you are posting to when you create a content for a social media platform. So, how do you use social media as a journalism program? So when you start to use social media to promote or enhance your content of your program, you want to think about how which platform you want and who your consumer is. Know who your audience is and what type of information you want to promote. You should approach your social media posts and campaigns like you do any other type of story mapping or page design. How is the best way to tell the reader the info? And what is the most eye-catching, interesting way to do this? Who is your readership? How is the best way to tell that reader the info? And what is the most eye-catching, interesting way to do the storytelling? So those are the ways you want to think about it. So what are the platforms? What are the platforms you use, and what are the best ways to use those platforms? As you know, there are the big shares. These platforms are the best used for large groups and content sharing. Uncles and mom. It's moved to me. It's not used to your peers who are, unless they're more plugged in audience members of your peer group at your school who use Facebook. You want to target the audience of your grandma who can't attend graduation. So live streaming events is a great way to do this. You can live stream events such as graduation and award ceremony to get eyeballs and followers. You can target Nana who can't come to graduation, or Aunt Sarah who is living in Montana and can't get to graduation. You can be the official videographer of the National Honor Society or some other club and organization in the school, so that you can get followers and people who can watch these events and then comment and share your page or your group to other people within the family or the community that would like this. Also, share announcements that your school and community organizations post. Now more than ever, people are staying at home and relying on news from local officials and organizations about what will be open and when. Make sure to follow community pages and share those announcements that are newsworthy and that have value. Like, I want to know when we can go to state parks that are open. When they reopened, that would have been a great time to share that. When a city passes a mandatory mask bill, share that. That's information that your community and your readership needs. So make sure that you share community and school organization information that is important and newsworthy. If your school is planning reopening protocols, that's a great thing to share on your Facebook page, because parents are really into that and trying to figure out what they're going to do for their kids in the fall. Reshare what your district is planning or what districts around you are planning to do. Also, share publication and program information. Did you win awards at Alabama's Scholastic Press Association's big event recently? Did you win something from Cyber Nationals? Share those items. If you're coming out with a new issue, perfect. This is a great place to share that information so that people will know where to get it. If you distribute it at a local car dealership, tell them they can pick up the issue there. If you have a link they can find it at, that's perfect, because that's an easy link. Event sharing and creation is a great way to celebrate the release of a publication. If you have a yearbook release party, back in the day when we could congregate, invite community members and parents. Are you having a coffee night to promote the literary magazine submissions and fundraise? Get out and spread the word. Parents love that. Anytime you can spotlight their kids' works and you can fundraise, make an event through your page or your group so that they can come and show off their kids. Invite their other friends to say, hey, my kid is doing this. If you have a spaghetti supper night or whatever, you can create an event on your page and invite people in the community and your parents, and they can invite their other friends. Spotlights. One other great way to connect former students is to do spotlights. One school celebrated Black History Month by spotlighting Black alums and their achievements. This is a great way to show what your students have been up to and to grow your audience. People love to be mentioned online and will share with their mamas and with the community. So, their mamas will share this and so forth. Plus, you get a direct contact with those alums, so you can add it to your database for fundraising. We want to continue spotlighting our members of our community or stories of our community, and you can help by contributing to do this or contributing X amount of dollars. Or you have their information so you can, add them to events. So I'm going to show you what this one school did. If I can pull it up. So you can see how they just wrote up a Facebook post about this young woman who she talked about her experience at the school and how her experience in the student government, and then they posted a photo of her, and you can reshare that for years and years, but that's something that people love to have, and like I said, you can share, they can reshare with their parents can reshare with other family members, and that gets you more connections and likes and followers. So that's a great way to use your Facebook. Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is huge for multi-generations. So local newspapers and news outlets have been consolidated over the past years. So live tweeting board meetings and sporting events is great because you don't have that local news presence to do that for you. District policies are not covered as much as they used to be. Live tweeting district meetings and sporting events allows a wide distribution of information that is important to the community. They're boring. District meetings are just boring. Nobody wants to go to them, but they're important because They can change attendance policies. They can change the SROs, the student resource officers that are in your school. That can be determined whether they're going to, provide guns to teachers. That's important. So all these kind of decisions that are made at board meetings are important and affect you guys and your parents. Most people will be unaware of these policies unless you cover them. Live tweeting updates from games is also a great way to engage your audience. Friday night, if you can't get to a game or you're working, kids can check their phones at work to see how your school's doing at a football game or a basketball game. You can also share announcements, like I said previously, and you can schedule these prior to an event, so you don't have to worry about it. We'll talk about this later, but share these announcements are crucial to making you the go-to source on news. If you just schedule and say, like, in 10 minutes, be in the gymnasium for the pep rally, or, prom is, at 8:30 on Friday, make sure to get your corsages and your hair done. Sharing relevant secondary sources. That's also a great way to enhance your content. When you publish a story in print or online, you can share secondary or relevant sources on your Twitter feed to point back to that story. If you're covering gun control or a new survey or vote comes out, tweet it and say, look at our story published on X date for more information on how gun control in your school affects you. Or if you're covering the election and new poll numbers come out, you can say, look at that. Look back at our story on the local election printed on X date. With Twitter, you can do the same as Facebook. Share community posts and updates as they're newsworthy. Make sure to follow organizations and branches of your local government that post important news. You can hold polls and contests to engage your audience. It's important to engage your audience in whatever platform you're doing. Get feedback as much as you can. Twitter is a wonderful platform to engage your audience. Find out what they're interested in and how you can improve your post. This is a great platform to do this. Polls about what the prom theme should be, or what is an important topic to cover. Those are great things. If you're having trouble deciding, what movie to review or CD or comic book or video game, you can put out a poll and just get a quick response within 24 hours, and you can keep the results public so that you have some accountability and you can see what your audience is thinking. So then you also have, of course, Instagram. Everybody loves a good gram. So you've got slideshows. Who doesn't love slideshows? You can do so much with this. Whether it is an artist portfolio, a photography showcase, or just a student spotlight, you have so much to do. People on the street can be so much fun with Insta slideshows. Do photos, do text, do an integrated module. Have story takeovers for different groups. Is the student council planning the prom? Have them take over for 48 hours prior to showing how they prep and design that area. Have teacher take over so they can show you experiments in the chemistry class. You can also save your stories. If you are covering, a specific pep rally or signing day, you can save that and use it the next year to promote the signing day.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most when I go to Newberry is just to be part of the team and the family they have there. And
so you can promote signing day next year
before he graduates
by saving signing day from last year.
So college, my favorite aspect of it is the athletic program. They got good coaches and very fun players to play with. They got good attitude.
And they've got specific content, text about where the student is going. I don't think it's showing up in the screen.
I'm just glad it's over.
What was it about SC State that really sold you?
Them allowed me to play both
This
sports.
is a great way to use stories and to save them. You can also promote your publication brand while promoting your stories. Every publication has a logo, an emblem, a symbol. You can brand all your Insta content with your identity so that people know that it is yours. So if I see this specific logo, I know that it is from the Bitter Southerner. And they have specific colors and font. And you can see this is an example of a slideshow that they are thanking their supporters and the people who bought new memberships. But they say why they support this publication. And you can see they have the logo at the bottom with a photo, and then they have a little text. So this is a good example of branding and slideshow usage. So you could do this with people on the street saying, like, if you ask them a question. So every time I see that logo, I know it's the Bitter Southerner. I don't even have to look at the thing on the side. You can do teasers. Teasers preview what you're going to have in the next issue, or in your next show, or in your yearbook. Do a design showcase for the yearbook. Like, look at the new academic spread, or look at the photos we took from the cheerleading competition that we're going to put in the yearbook. A cover reveal. I know a lot of people that do that because some of the staffers don't even know what they're going to have on the cover. A short man on the street to promote your next publication. If you've got a TV show, you can put a short clip from it. So those are great ways to use Instagram. Next, we'll talk about curation. These are great platforms where you can save a lot of ideas or just build content and put them in one location so that you can direct people to this one location and they don't have to scrounge around and have a bunch of links. So Pinterest is great for that. Pinterest you can use in a lot of ways. You can use it for teachers. You can use it for resources within your classroom. You can use it for curriculum. Editors-in-chiefs, you can use it for design and story ideas, even just section editors. Tips and tricks. Let me see if I can pull this up really quick. So we have a SIPA Pinterest board, and it's wonderful because we have different boards where I've put the COVID coverage from different schools. We've got e-teaching, e-learning. We've got news engagement boards. We have the 2018 election coverage, public relations, student journalism. We have a great design board which has 92 pins, photography, typography, quotes, AP style, news. We feature a lot of former scholastic journalists, free speech. We have a diverse coverage board which will show you how to cover diverse topics. So if you go to that, this is a great way to keep different design and story ideas. So if you're wanting to cover DACA or Black Lives Matter, especially now, you've got all this content you can put. You can make a Black Lives Matter board or different types of things. Classroom Connections is specifically for content and curriculum for advisors. But you can do all types of things that you can save for your classroom, or your if you're an editor, you can save things that you like. If you like specific designs and things like that. So this is our design board, and you can save that. So, and you can save tips and tricks on how to do specific things. Shared resources. If you run a story and you have a lot of resources that you want to share, whether it's in your broadcast or your lit mag or whatever publication you have, your online publication, this is a great way to collect all the links and create a board and just direct the people to direct your readers to that single board. So in our summer camp, they have a social media requirement they have to meet. And when we did it a few years ago, so when in our summer camp, you have to create a social media aspect to your project. And this one student was covering a local music company, and so she did a Pinterest board on concert fashion. And so she just created different decades and fashion, and where you can buy certain type of fashion that would go along. There was a better one, but it has been shut down, that showed different eclipse things. I'm not sure. I can try and find it. But it showed how you can have different, yep, there's nothing there. But it's a great way to collect shared resources that can be a story enhancement for your story. And then you have Spotify, which is just fun. You can create companion or shared playlist if you are reviewing an album, or you can create a top 5 or a top 10 song list for the artist. So this publication reviewed Hosier's album, and they linked to the EP. You can see on the side right here in their on their website. So you can create playlists that are specific to the review you're doing, or you can do time specific content. So if it's the holiday season, you can create a playlist that coincide with the holidays, or if it's the end of the school year, you can do a summer playlist and say the hot summer hits, or hot summer hits from 10 years ago, those kinds of things. That's just a fun option. There's also WakeLit. WakeLit is a great way to collect content from multiple platforms. If anybody remembers Storyfy, it's just like that. It allows you to save content from anywhere on the web and any platform about a specific subject. So, like I said, each year at our summer camp, you have to have a social media component to your project. And so this student was covering Carolina athletics, and he collected different tweets about Gamecocks and the specific student athlete. He didn't really integrate it the way I would like him to, so I will show you exactly how WakeLit should work, and how easily it can be done. You just go in and you can put in whatever photos, and you create a headline and then a little topic. And so last time I did this, it was 2019. So just go in, you can bold it, and you can easily reorder it. So done. And so then I was talking about how our students, Ebony, Kaylee, and Shelby, were covering WREN, the Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. And so I pulled this tweet that we did about their team, and I talked about how they were covering a special event. I pulled in this thing from the web. So you want to collect and transition. So You can paste any URL, find YouTube tweets, images, upload PDFs. Or you can just add text. So, and then you just add from YouTube, or better yet, let's add a tweet. From a user. So there you go. You can do whatever you want. And so that's nice. Easy thing to do, where you can collect different things from across platforms and create a little story that you can then share. And you can change the visibility, but you can share the link and put it on anything. So you can make a QR code and link it. This is a great way to use that. So then you also have creation. So we've done sharing, curation, and creation. So this is where you can create post or any type of infographic to promote your publication. These are the big 4 free ones: Canva, Adobe Spark, Pictochart, and Easily. Canva is a great way to create any type of design. You can do social media, marketing, documents, print, video. I did my spring virtual conference presentation through there. So you can do anything through Canva. Let me pull it up. It's a wonderful, so you can, if you want to recreate your, if you want to create an Instagram story or an Instagram post, or an animated social media post, you can just go on here and it's free. And you can get something simple like this. And then we just put in the words we want. And we're done. And so then you can change the photos to whatever you want. And then you just download it and put it on your Instagram. So this is a wonderful tool. Then we've got Adobe Spark, which is my favorite. Adobe Spark is a great way to create Instagram stories, posts, Facebook posts, collages, presentations, videos. It's also free. And it automatically sizes to whatever you need. So I'll show you some of our projects that we've done where you can do any type of post and then adjust it accordingly. And they have, you can create projects where if you want to do a video or a web page, let's say we're going to do an Instagram story. You go in here and you find something, create from this template, and you can expand it. It takes less than 5 minutes to change the font and the colors. So it's really nice and simple. This is a great tool to have. And then you've got Pictochart and Easily. Pictochart and Easily are great tools to create infographics. Easy peasy infographics. So if you're creating anything that shows pie charts or how vaccines work, those kinds of things, bar graphs. This is Pictochart. Pictochart I like because it's a little easier than Easily, which is kind of ironic, but it has colorful kinds of opportunities. This one's not so colorful, but got an infographic tool where you can go over and use any type of thing, and you can publish it to the web, print it out, download it, and put it in your publication. It's really easy. Easily is another one that has public visuals that you can create infographics. I don't really use it that often, but it's really colorful and easy as well. So those are free online graphic and visual creation tools that are wonderful. And then you have things that you can do to schedule ahead of time, which makes your life really easy. So you always want to make a list and use TweetDeck. So TweetDeck is wonderful because you can schedule your tweets when you're planning something or a planning event, or you know something is going to happen. You can schedule those tweets ahead of time. TweetDeck is free, so you just have to link up your Twitter account with TweetDeck. You also have Hootsuite, which you can manage multiple platforms. You can look at your analytics and you can schedule. Hootsuite used to offer free educational online courses. I think they still do. So check those out as well, advisors. The most important thing with social media is making sure that you create responsible consumers and purveyors. You want to make sure that everything you share is sourced responsibly, and that you check those sourcing materials that you share, because social media can also be a place where false information is shared. So you want to be responsible, as you always are, in creating any type of news. So share news, but make sure it's responsible and correct information. So make sure with everything, make sure you have some type of guidelines in place. In your staff manual for social media usage, you would want to check out examples like the New York Times has a social media guidelines, ESPN has guidelines, and they have an explanation of those guidelines from April 2017. Jamel Hill also has a great video explaining social media guidelines, because she was fired because of misusing social media. NPR has a wonderful guide of social media usage. So make sure you have some type of guidelines in place for usage. Verify your sources when sharing, liking, and retweeting, because if you like or retweet, that also can mean that you endorse or you use it in some way. So make sure you verify all the sources when you're retweeting or liking or sharing those. If you want to be bold in your social media usage in your publication, try Snapchat. Snapchat is fun. It's kind of going by the wayside, but you can do instant, easy video sharing, do contests and polls, take a screenshot of your fave. You could do takeovers with this as well. There's Stellar with an ER at the end. I really like Stellar because it is crisp, clean storytelling with photos. You can do how-tos, directions, and other step-by-steps, exercises, workouts, crafts, DIYs. I was trying to log in to my Stellar, but I can't seem to. But it's a wonderful tool. Just go to stellar.co. It's great. It's like Instagram, but it has more written content, and you can do exercise, sports, workouts, those kinds of things where you can explain things. It's a really fun option. Also, I haven't added this, but you could do TikTok. I would just get somebody that knows how to use TikTok in a fun way and an informative way. Make sure you always use these in an informational, way to get your message across, or in some type of informative resource way. So as with everything, make sure you use these platforms properly. And if you want a copy of this presentation, please email me. My email is, I will type it in right here. It is dennislc@email.sc.edu. And I'm happy to take any questions later. I am terrible at live presentations, so I decided to record this. But email me. Meredith has all my contact information, so feel free to call me if you want to talk to me. I am always happy to answer questions. And I hope everyone's staying safe and well, and I hope to see everyone soon. But yeah, happy social media.